NUFF SAID coming up on pay-per-view February 11th. Now, this is a huge opportunity because, again, this is the first pay-per-view kind of after Tyrus won the championship. And have you talked to Tyrus about this opportunity? Because we talked before, this is like a third time talking, with Matt Cardona, unfortunately got injured before his own pay-per-view Always Ready. Now, Tyrus with NUFF SAID, this is going to be a huge opportunity and a huge platform for him to be the face of NWA, the face of this pay-per-view. Have you spoken to him? How's he feeling about this?
I've spoken to him more so over the years, so I kind of know where his head's at. He's a person who feels he's always been overlooked in the wrestling business. I never had that opinion. Our relationship goes back to the TNA days when we used to sit there and talk about how he was being underutilized there. So
Hmm.
I was in a position in the NWA where I could put him in a position to kind of make the point. And being the team player that he is, he wanted to build up the television title first. And I think he's done a tremendous job on that. And so to me, it was a natural step to move him up into the world heavyweight title picture. And not everybody agrees, but I come from an era, being born in 1967, growing up with the big guys in the 70s, Andre, Ernie Ladd, stuff like that, where promotions built around giants. So I think Tyrus will make his case here. But here's the thing about it: that you have that styles clash between somebody like Tyrus, who's kind of a self-made man in one way,
Hmm.
and Matt Cardona, who's a self-made man in a completely different way. And I like the cultural clash there too.
Yeah, I think that's what people are. It's very confusing because Twitter's not real, but Twitter seems to be what people believe a company is representing. As in, Matt Cardona just won recently, I think it was like the top independent wrestler of the year, and that gains you Twitter's approval. And then you have Tyrus, who has a whole different fan base, but yet there are the other half who are against him for whatever reason because he's a good. He's being very good at being very bad as a champion, as a heel, and yet some fans don't like that because they don't like him, which is
Well,
fine because
yeah.
it doesn't matter because if you're a bad guy, you're creating heat. If Matt Cardona shows up and beats you, well, aren't we all going to cheer Matt Cardona and support him?
Well, we also live in this crazy world where who you are in other parts of your life do influence your wrestling life. Obviously, Tyrus is a huge star on Fox.
Yeah.
Gutfeld draws over 2 million people a night, and Tyrus is on there, I think, 4 times a week. By the way, wearing the World Heavyweight Championship belt over his shoulder.
Yes.
So you have a different level of marketing, you have a different level of reach. And of course, Cardona has sort of weaponized who he is on the internet and created a kind of a cottage industry for himself in a way that I can't think of any other independent wrestler who's done it better. So I think in both cases, you have to give kind of a mutual respect that they've kind of figured out who they are in the world. And now they brought that back into wrestling. And I think that's what makes this quite compelling is, both guys walk through the door with a lot more than who they are as wrestlers. But the beautiful thing about professional wrestling is now it's in the ring. Cardona's used to working with guys a little bit more his size. Tyrus is obviously a bigger kettle of fish. And Tyrus gets criticized for being a little bit older at this point in his career, a little bit slower. Not that he was ever fast, although he claims when he was in high school he was quite fast, right?
I'd like to
So
see
you're going to have
tape. I
that.
want to. I want to see tape of that.
Yeah.
Tyrus.
So you get into kind of, you get into power versus speed, and obviously two different completely professional wrestlers.